Okay, I'm gonna make one more quick video, and it is a video that I'm not sure if I want to post publicly because this is a video about something we can all relate to, especially guys, and that is that the process in which you break out of the isometric innertension, in which you get your thoughts flowing onto the exterior, and this tension part breaks. It breaks, the inner isometric inner tension breaks into the gut emotional feelings, okay, that is connected with the thoughts. You know what that process is very, very related to? It's very, very related to the sexy time stuff, okay? So, one thing that I was able to do, maybe from the very early on, after getting stuck into the horrible hell of the inner clench, where my thoughts are stuck into the inner clench, so then all my thoughts were also in the inner squeeze, was that on my own, thinking about the sexy time, okay? Because in that sexy time, the thoughts, the pleasurable thoughts, create the gut feeling, and as that's being initiated, you're able to tell real easily. You relax more into it, and the flow, the exterior flow, connected with your thinking, of all that sexy stuff, takes hold, and then you are grounded into the exterior, first person, present moment. And the more you relax, the more deeper the thought gets connected with all that emotional feeling, right? Now, what happened is that then in this realm, okay, I'm cured. But then after it was over, because I'm by myself, I go straight back, and it's like somebody, after they do it, the idea back in the day was like, oh, you want to smoke a cigarette afterwards, but I go back into the inner clenching because that's what I've gotten stuck inside of. So I go back into for everything else, and then I'm like, wait a second, why can't I keep that relaxed exterior focus with all my thoughts after the sexy time? And it's like, well, in any case, I needed a real girlfriend. Finally, after lots of years, I get a real girlfriend. So yes, I'm able to break out of the tension and ground into her. And but then afterwards, she's still there. So then, her still being there allows me to stay out of not go back into the inner clench. And all my thoughts and feelings are still grounded on the exterior. And then the thoughts continue to be like, oh, what do you want to do next? Oh, well, what do you, and thinking about her and her thoughts and her feelings. And then I'm out of it with all of my thoughts, out of the tension, and into somatic feelings with my thoughts for everything. And plus the thing is, there's not guilt about it. Because obviously I want the sexy time to be with a real girl every time. But for some reason, if it's with a real girl, there's no guilt behind it. It's like, oh, that's something I can be proud of. you know, Talk about unfair, because that's what I want. I want it to be with a real girl every time. But but uh, but yeah. But my whole point is that it's the same process of grounding into the exterior, disconnecting the tension uh, um, from the thoughts, letting your body relax and go back into somatic feelings that are connected with your thinking. It's that same process as the sexy time process, except this time you have to do it without it being a sexy time uh, deal running through it, because you're on your own, you don't have a girl, right? And which is also another horror show. It was just kind of like a catch-22 as to why I wasn't able to get one, because every time I got one, the few times that I ever did, um, I guess they just weren't exactly what I wanted, type of thing. But every time I did, the girl said, "Oh my God, you are by far there's nothing wrong with you. You are by far the best boyfriend I've ever had." Like, every girl has all said that, and because it's true. The only problem that I've ever had was the neurofeedback, which got me stuck into the inner clench. But but if I'm not in the inner clench, then I'm a genius, and I'm good at everything, and I'm super smart, and I'm a good person and everything. So it's like it's kind of messed up like that. So I always said a girlfriend is my cure. A girlfriend is my cure. But it's like other people didn't help me in that realm of trying to get a girlfriend ever. I just never met anyone. Never got a date. You know what I mean? Just never got a date. If I ever got a date, yeah, I would be able to, because I'm so excited by the idea of having a girlfriend finally and everything, and I want it so bad that I'm like always able to usually be totally out of it, and by out of it, you know what I'm saying. Focused on the exterior with my feelings on the exterior as well. Um, and then if I get the girlfriend, then I'm out of it for life. So like when I was out of it for like 2 years straight, it was because I had a girlfriend. Even though after like a year and a half, she kind of like went somewhere else, and but I was able to stay out of it because I had gotten conditioned into my real self, my real innate self. That's not stuck in the inner isometric clench. Uh, but yeah, um, and that's also the reason why too. You know, just regular time, not sexy stuff. You have to get your thoughts ready to go in like a happiness feeling or a confident feeling when you're going to break out of the isometric clench and get your focus on the exterior with emotional feelings on the exterior. Because just like how it's kind of like innate in that, if it's the sexy time, it's like, well, it's almost like the pleasure feelings are already starting to lead the way, you know? And of course, I want more of that pleasure feeling. So it's more easy to kind of like relax into that. And so with other things, it's kind of like you got to figure out some kind of happy, positive, fearless things that you want for your life. And then to break out within that. And it's a little bit more difficult because it's just not so readily, obviously apparent, all that is. But yeah, so once you are broken out into just like, oh, I've learned a new kind of sport or whatever, or I'm just doing things progressive and it feels good, and then I'm able to stay out into that focus, if you will, and the thoughts stay out of it, and the clench stays disconnected from that gut emotional feeling of the exterior, and then you just keep going, and yeah, one of the biggest problems for it was really, it was almost like hopelessness that I'll ever be able to meet a girl, because it's like, it's so weird how it's been so much more difficult for me to ever meet them. If I meet them and talk to them, I win them, but I never meet or talk to them. And that was the one of the reasons why I was able to stay stuck in an inner clench for so much longer than it ever should have happened to me. And that's another reason why it's so unfair, because I'm so much better. I would make, and I do make, such a much better boyfriend than all the other girls who have these boyfriends who are fucking whatevers. So yeah, that's sad and unfair as well. So yeah, like I was just like even telling people and everything, like no, no, no. If I got a girlfriend, I would break out of it and stay totally out of it, and I'd be back to my normal self, and everything would just fall into place, and I would be good. And I've proven it. The few times I have, I broke out of it, stayed out of it, had a gut feeling the whole time. I thought that the inner clench would never happen to me again, and it only happened after um, the relationship went away, you know. Um, and and I mean, sometimes the relationship went away and I was still all good because like the hope was still alive or something. But then like the last time, it's kind of like, oh, the hope started to go away, and then the inner clench just, because the inner clench happens, at least now, along with negative thoughts. It's like you're not just only stuck in the inner clench of itself, but also it's like, in addition, it happens with your feelings as well, you know? Um, it's pretty complicated. But the whole point is that there's something that you could very much relate to, which is the breakout process being very fucking similar to the breakout process in which you get yourself really full of pleasure within the sexy time thing. So, so you know, you might want to kind of think of that as it being like kind of the same thing. It's just that you have to figure out how to do it without it being a sexy time thing. Because most of your life is in the realms of not being within the sexy time thing. And that's why this is really, because I was born and raised a good Catholic boy, and that's probably one of the biggest. That's also not helpful too, because that whole thing it's real easy to get like, oh, what am I being bad? You know, it's real easy to be like, and that can tear you apart as far as not being able to be free with your emotions, if you will. Yeah, so it's like I'm more of a scientist. I believe that there's a God and everything, and I believe that this world's all about goodness and figuring out what goodness is. But that needs to be combined with personal pleasure too. Just like it's real simple, like how I was explaining, how I have to get my personal pleasures flowing real well, and then and I think the root of goodness is what innately comes after that, which is that I want to make other people feel pleasure as well, innately, because that is the enlightened selfishness that makes me feel good, is making other people feel good, makes me feel good, and the cycle rolls on. And that is really the meaning of life. It's not just about focusing on the goodness thing, and it's not about like some kind of hedonism where I'm only focused on my own personal pleasure. It's both combined. That is the meaning of life, right? And in our religions, let's face it, they weren't a creation of God himself or anything. They're a creation of man, and let's also face it, they were also made to like make the believers servile for a certain agenda. It wasn't created, you know, in a sense of trying to make the world perfect or trying to make you perfect or anything like that. But the real reason, maybe more founded in science, is what I'm explaining. One that really does make a better world, and one that also is a focus on you becoming a more free, better person, you know, more feeling good within your own self too. So that combination, where you're helping others, which you'll innately want to do when you're feeling good, that's the true religion. That's and the real God knows it, you know, or something like that type of thing. That's what this life is, okay? Anyways. Oh. Maybe I'll put this public. I don't know. It's kind of risky because I talk about sex stuff. Yeah.